So I got some requests from my friends to talk about the UDES 1516. This is the Tier 10 Swedish medium tank. It is very unique because it's one of two tanks at Tier 10 with hydropneumatic suspension, which basically allows it to elevate the butt of its tank so that it gets artificial gun depression, is what I will call it. It's a very powerful tank, in my opinion, if used correctly. It's a ridgeline god, hard to pen tank, opportunistic damage dealer, and it can do a lot of really cool things. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the stats, compare it to one or two tanks that are similar to this tank, and then do some live gameplay to show what this thing can do. I'm comparing the UDES to the STB-1, the Japanese Tier 10 medium, and the 430U, the Russian Tier 10 armored medium. I'm comparing it to the STB-1 because it is the other tank with the hydropneumatic suspension system. While the UDES may have come into the game first, the STB-1 came in later and completely outshined the UDES for reasons that I will get into. However, I still believe the UDES has its place in the meta. I'm also comparing it to the 430U because the 430U is one of the most played Tier 10 mediums, and they have the same caliber gun. So immediately we can see the STB-1 has far better DPM than both these tanks, and better penetration. However, the UDES has a nice powerful gun of 440 Alpha, same as the 430U. It is one of three tanks at Tier 10 medium that has this alpha damage, which is a very unique thing about this tank. It has a caliber of 120, with a okay DPM. It's not the worst. It's obviously better than the 430U. It has the worst penetrating heat rounds at Tier 10, I believe, tied with the TVP, and okay HE rounds. 60 millimeters, not too crazy. Its shell velocity is alright. Its ammo capacity is lower than the other two tanks, but 17,000 damage is still quite enough to kill the enemy team. Your gun stats are middling. You're all around better than the 430U, but not as good as the STB-1. It beats you when it's aiming, beats you when it's moving, except for turret traverse. One good thing, though, is that the UDES does have the best baseline accuracy here. The depression here is not correct. Oops. The depression here is not correct. It says 6 and 8 for these respectively, but it is actually far higher. The UDES, when it goes into its hydropneumatic suspension mode, gets an impressive 13 degrees of gun depression, and the STB-1 gets 14. The 430U, still just Russian 5 degrees. Not very impressive. Both of these tanks are decently fast. However, the STB-1 has a better power-to-weight ratio, by a lot, and weighs more. It may have slightly worse terrain resistances, but in this instance, it does not matter. Then we go down to the armor, and on paper, it looks like the STB-1 has way better armor than the UDES. And in some regards, this is completely true. However, this is where I believe the UDES's niche comes into play. So here we see the STB-1. Its armor is all around okay. You kind of have an auto ricochet here if you're just looking dead on at it, and it's got a pretty strong turret, but a pretty big cupola. When using, you won't be able to see it here, but when using its 14 degrees, this still gets you a decent idea. This plate is a ricochet. You could hit this when pen it. You could hit this and pen it. You could hit this and pen it, and this isn't even with heat. Looking at it with heat, this tank is very easy to pen. You can still see the cupola, and pen it even below the cheeks when it's looking down at you. And this is where the UDES wins over the STB. Just looking dead on, with using the STB's gun, looking at the UDES, this is what he sees. Ricochet, 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 odd pen, possible pen, and that's without using any of its gun depression. The second the UDES starts to use its gun depression, there's no chance in hell that the STB will pen. Even with gold, even with heat, you don't have the best chance of penning. You have to get a lucky shot here, which is very hard to hit compared to the STB's Cupolar. And for people who are worried, let's compare it to one of the most dangerous tanks at tier 10, the Fake Chieftain. Firing Gold, one of your biggest competitors, the Fake Chieftain Firing Gold, still only a 30% chance to possibly pen the turret. It's a very, very strong tank in this regard. This is where I believe it has a niche over the STB1. It's very hard to pen when it gets like this. And let's just talk about more of the basics of the armor, now that I've covered that. You have okay side armor. You can side scrape, but you can't really in this tank. You got 50 millimeters. You have to be really extreme about your side scraping to pull off a bounce. When you use your 13 degrees of gun oppression, you're pretty much impossible to pen. People have to fire like super high levels of heat pen to pen you, like, even your cupolar. Like, yeah. So armor-wise, the UDES is very strong. Something else to add about the armor is that you are very weak to artillery. The whole of your tank is only 50 at the top and 20 at the turret, which is very bad if you get hit by artillery. You have a high chance of getting penned. And also, these back here is all spaced armor, which could help you from getting HE'd in the butt, but is a hitbox, which can be very annoying if you get rammed or you're trying to get out of spawn and somebody runs into you. This is a hitbox, and it is frustrating. Some of the more miscellaneous stats that the UDES has are actually what make this tank pretty good. You have the best camo while moving of any medium tank at tier 10. Just flat out. You are a very sneaky tank. One of the downsides, however, of the UDES is that you only have 390 view range, which pretty much means that you have to use coated optics no matter what, which is one of the downsides of the tank. But on the plus side, you have that fantastic armor, that like apocalypse armor, that if you get on a ridgeline, you are dominant. Before we hop into the live battles, I'm going to explain my loadout. First of all, I have coated optics because this tank's view range is not the best. With coated optics, brothers in arms, recon, and situational awareness, I get 481, which for this tank is not bad. The second thing I use is vertical stabilizers. That's because your accuracy, while good, is not the greatest. And the final thing I use is gun rammer, because 10% to your DPM, why wouldn't you take that? This tank, in my opinion, doesn't really benefit from any like mobility slot item, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, I think if you want to make this tank as good as you can, you don't want to use any of those other equipment slots or other equipment pieces. As I was pointing out earlier, you also have really good camo rating, and I do 29.34 while moving. That's pretty rock solid. And yeah, that's what I gotta say. Let's hop into the battles. So my hope is to find a map where I can use my gun oppression. This one's not bad. However, there is 2 arty on each team, which means if they hit me, I'm going to be really punished for it. That's for sure. Where do I want to go? I'm probably going to head to the hill at B2 or B3, and that's where I can use my gun oppression most effectively. I think I will listen to the T100 LT and bleed the crossing, to the best of my ability at least. Again, I'm not very good at aiming, and this isn't the most accurate tank in the game, but hopefully I'll hit it. Still having some lag issues. That's not good. Oh, I'll still try to bleed the crossing. And they probably will not be able to spot me. Are you gonna... I guess not. Nice, nice, not bad. Can I get another? Doesn't look like it. Well, okay, I'm gonna now push into position. Again, we see the tank's not super accurate, but, I mean, I hit the shot still, so. We lost our M60. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at the enemy team here, and it's very stacked against us at the moment. I can just tell purely because of their clans. It was a very stacked match. Odd frame rate drop. Okay. My goal now is to stop them from pushing. I'm gonna load some heat just so I can butcher this M48. So at this point, this is kind of a knife fight. We need them gone out of our base. I guess I'll push the Progetto. If you can't finish him off, I'll try. Guess not. Push down, he auto-aimed at me. And again, this tank punishes auto-aiming. If you auto-aim at this tank, you're shooting at the center of its mass, and it'll most likely bounce. He aimed. Good for him. Again, all we're trying to do is hold this. That's all we're trying to do right now. And this tank can do that. Very good holding tank. Very good holding tank. If I wasn't lagging so crazily. Oh shizzle my whizzle. I'm kind of risking myself here to Artie actually, so I'm going to pull back. If the Badger would give up his position, I could use it very well. But the Badger's probably more effective there, to be honest. Nope, not going to take that shot. Nice shot. If I can hit the cheeks of the 140, I can pen him. But it's kind of hard to do with the lag I'm having at the moment. That was a bad shot on my part. But he got punished for it. This battle, I guess I was completely wrong. This is a complete turnaround. I'm going to go in now. 50p is probably dead. Yeah, I'm going to turn my attention to the mouse. Mouse will not be able to pen me. That was a lucky shot on my part. I should not have hit that. Especially with the lag. I'm going to go for another one. There's artillery, as I've been saying. If it hits me, I am screwed. I'm hoping it will not hit me again. Tried. A little cheeky shot. I'll pull back. In fact, I'm going to get to the M48's position. Mouse cannot kill me in one shot, so I'm not really worried about it. No pen. Another mouse. A lot of hit points to farm here. I'm going to auto-aim onto him. I'm going to turn around here. This is another awesome thing about this tank. You're really small. So I can just sit behind the mouse and he will not... I see how it is. He will not be able to hit me, is what I'm trying to say. Because you're very low profile in this tank. You can sit behind tanks and they often will not have the gun depression to hit you. And against something like a big mouse, it's just never going to hit you. Pretty much. I wish I knew it was up with the lag at the moment. T92 is out of my range. Well, this is going to be it for this game. But what did I show you guys? This tank, relatively accuracy. Hold on. Relatively accurate, evidently. You have really good armor as long as you're not showing anything but your turret. If people auto-aim at you, they have a high chance of bouncing. What else to say? Hit by artillery, you're going to lose a lot of health. Okay, whatever this map is called, Pearl River? I don't remember. Where do I put my tank here? I think I'm going to try to drive to the middle and take the hill, the village marked on the map. Because if I can take it, I can snipe people around the entire map and also stop people from pushing it using my gun depression. So I think that's the plan going in. What do I expect to fight there? T-100, maybe the RHM, 140, E-50M. As long as I get some support, I should be fine. And again, server lag, or I guess me lag. Somebody's streaming movies right now, that's for sure. Okay, I got a 430U and an M48 coming along with me. Decently strong tanks, they'll definitely help. If this guy just... Jenny Greenteeth. Really gonna do that to me? Stop me from getting up here? Slap that guy. And then I'm going to push up the hill. And now, being on top of the hill, I have shots down on everybody. I can use my gun depression extremely effectively. Hopefully to the degree that nobody will pen me. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to be turning around and helping the 430U. Jenny Greenteeth. Okay, Jenny. The only thing, I failed to mention this, but I guess the only thing I'd be worried about penning me would be the Yagaru. Jenny, you are really aggravating. This is a very bad position for me. Especially with the lag going on. Okay, the 183 can easily destroy me. Okay, I'm using this to get out of here. I am... No! Using this to leave. Goodbye. It's bye-bye time. Okay, I guess not. You're not... Nope. Not happening. Thank you, artillery. Oh god, he's still coming for me. Get out of... Is he stuck? And the 183 is coming for me. It is time for Thomas to leave. He has seen enough. Oh, sniping. This is just clown train over here. Holy crud. He can overmatch my sides. I'm gonna get down here, use my gun depression. Oh no. Nope. Ugh. Punish him. Punish him for it. I'm probably gonna die to the M48 now. Thank you, artillery. I don't really... Ah, there we go. I don't really know what to say. This battle was a laggy mess. Good God. I don't know what to say about this. Truly. I got messed over by that 430U twice. The first time, arguably, didn't really matter. But good lord. Their, I guess, suicide push on me was extremely stupid, but hilarious at the same time, so. What did we gain from this battle? Nothing, really. If I'm being perfectly honest, nothing. You know, it's an okay tank. It's a ridgeline god. If you get this tank on a ridgeline, this tank is a nightmare to deal with. The only way people can really dig you out is with artillery, or super high heat pen. such as a Yagura's Heat Round. That's really all I have to say. Thanks for watching.